Nice. All right, what's up, everyone? So this is Myth of Controller Doctor, recently rebranded, and I wanted to make a video on how I test Dashback. This is the method that I use when I determine Dashback for whatever controller I have. I'm not going to be covering the intricacies, like the mechanics behind Dashback. There's two great articles, MIOM articles that were written by Cardano and Typo. I'll link those in the description, but those are, if you're interested in, the mechanics and inner workings of Dashback, Dashback out of buffer and that kind of thing, you can check those out. The purpose of this video is more directed towards players who are interested in learning, how to test the Dashback of their controller. There's good written resources that exist, but I have yet to see a video demonstration on how you can do it yourself, and it's really not too difficult to do. So the very first thing, you're going to want to use 20XX. You see right now I'm using 4.07++. I recommend using the latest version of 20XX. So we're going to go to the debug menu. Now in the debug menu, there's two things that we're going to activate. First of all, we're going to go to the debug mode, and we're going to go to training. Okay, and then we're going to get into our in-game code toggles. We're going to make sure the 20XX toggles right here, that these are on, all right? And then right here at the bottom, the frame counter. We're going to make sure that's on. There's a very good tutorial by Gravy on how to use the frame counter. I'll link that. I'm going to go over it slightly, but for a more in-depth tutorial, you can definitely check his out. All right, and then next, we're going to go into color overlays. You want to make sure that whatever port you're in, the color overlay is on. In my case, I'm in player 1 port, so we're going to turn that on. Now we're going to go to, so right here at the bottom, where you see miss smash turn, this is important. You can put whatever color you want. I usually use white, but we're going to activate that. If you want, you could do in action state overlays, a different color for something like dash. We're not going to do that. I don't think it's necessary, but that's just another option. Okay, and then the last thing to remember, when we're testing Dashback, we are trying to test Dashback for vanilla melee. So we're not using a UCF setup. 4.07++ doesn't automatically have UCF in it. But on the mechanics code for the 2-frame window, we want to make sure that's off because we're trying to test Dashback in the normal 1-frame window. All right, so after we do those settings, we're going to go to melee, and we're going to make sure that the time, it's an endless melee match, and you can choose whatever character. I usually do this with Fox or Marth. Really, any character works. I just think it's more consistent, use one character that you're familiar with. Because most people play Fox, I just tend to use it with Fox. You're going to hold the start button, and that'll take you to stage select by yourself. I like to go on FD. It doesn't really matter what stage you choose. Okay, so the very first thing to activate the frame counter, what you should know is that we're going to do LR and then D-pad left. And what that does is it's going to show you which port any action state is going to be on. If you keep pressing D-pad left, then it'll keep cycling across different characters. So let's say there were 4 characters in the match. It would cycle across them. You can see on Gravy's tutorial where he does that. But in our case, we can just set it to Fox and the only, player 1. So now we're going to enter the action state we're trying to measure, and we're going to press D-pad up when we do that. So we're trying to enter the turning animation. So right there, I moved my controller to the left, and I immediately pressed D-pad up to catch myself in this turning animation. So then, in order to set the frame counter to this animation, we're going to go LR, D-pad left, and you're going to see how now the percentage changes. So that means now the frame counter is recording the frames to this animation. To exit the frame counter, we're going to press up on the D-pad, and now we have a Fox who is having his turn animation recorded by the frame counter. So in this case, for Fox, you're going to see a 1% on a successful dashback, which is synonymous with a smash turn. You're going to see 5% like that on a missed dashback, and that's synonymous with a tilt turn. Essentially, in order to test dashback, remember how we set the color overlay for missed smash turn? You're going to see that Fox is going to shine white when we miss a dashback. Let's Wait for that. Come on, Fox. Miss your dash. There we go. All right. So miss dashback, you can see that he shined white. Now, there's two key things that you want to remember when you're testing dashback. You want to dash back out of a standing animation. If you try to dash back out of, the lag of another move, I'm not going to go into buffered states or other things like that, but if you read the articles that I attached, that'll give a more in-depth tutorial. Just understand that you want to dash out of a standing animation, and when you dash, you want to hold the control stick for the whole animation. So I will demonstrate real quick. Let's say that, this is my control stick. Dash, 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 dash. See, I missed one right there. Dash, dash. I'm going out of standing. What's up? Yes, I'll do that in just a second. So now we're going to do a mock test, right? We're going to do a sample of recording dashback for this specific controller. So normally, dashback tiers are based out of attempts of 20. We're going to do 5 for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now let's go into 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it missed one attempt so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is a 19 out of 20 dashback rating. I would recommend that you do that test maybe 3 times and then take the average. If we did it again, we see that it's relatively consistent. And just remember that the more tests you do, the more likely you are to have an accurate reading. So at the moment, that's my best explanation for how you can test dashback on your own. I believe UnclePunch is coming up with a mod that will show you on screen if your dashback was successful for Vanilla Melee. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Again, this is Myth.